ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
This is ADBN News. First, the headlines. President Tinubu accepts Egbetokun's resignation, appoints Dirisu substantive IGP. House of Representatives summons Rural Electrification Agency MD over investigative hearing. Bayelsa Assembly clears Dr. Akbe for Deputy Governor. And on the foreign scene, 2 killed as Palestinians battle flood in Gaza. And in sports, Paris Saint-Germain defender Hakimi to stand trial for rape. Hello, good evening and welcome. I am Mariam Zakari. The presidency has confirmed the resignation of Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun. It will be recalled that Egbetokun's tenure was extended by 1 year in 2025 by President Bola Tinubu, but he submitted his resignation letter on Tuesday, citing personal family reasons. Special Assistant Media to the President, Bayo Onanuga, confirmed in a statement that Egbetokun was not sacked as reported in some quarters of the media earlier today. Egbetokun's tenure as Inspector General was marked by a series of controversies with his extended stay in office. Despite statutory retirement provisions forming the centerpiece of public criticism, his tenure was extended beyond the mandatory retirement threshold of 60 years of age or 35 years in service, a move that drew sustained criticism from civil society groups, legal experts, and commentators. Onanuga said in a statement the outgoing IGP was appointed in June 2023 and was serving a 4-year term scheduled to conclude in June 2027 in line with the amended provisions of the Police Act. He further said in view of the current security challenges confronting the nation and acting in accordance with extant laws and legal guidance, President Tinubu has approved the appointment of Assistant Inspector General of Police Tunji Disu to serve as Acting Inspector General of Police with immediate effect. The President added he is confident that AIG Disu's experience, operational depth, and demonstrated leadership capacity will provide steady and focused direction for the Nigeria Police Force during this critical period. Onanuga said in compliance with the provisions of the Police Act 2020, President Tinubu will convene a meeting of the Nigeria Police Council shortly to formally consider the appointment of AIG Disu as substantive Inspector General of Police, after which his name will be transmitted to the Senate for confirmation. House of Representatives Committee on Renewable Energy has summoned the Managing Director of the Rural Electrification Agency, Mr. Abba Aliu, to appear before it unfailingly on February 25 over his failure to attend the committee's investigative hearing across ministries, departments, and agencies. Declaring the hearing open, Speaker Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, who was represented by the Deputy Majority Leader Honorable Abdullahi Ibrahim Halims, reaffirmed that renewable energy remains central to Nigeria's economic future. He noted that Electricity Act 2023 deliberately integrates renewable energy into Nigeria's power mix, while the establishment of the House Committee on Renewable Energy reflects the 10th Assembly's commitment to strict oversight, accountability, and sustainable energy development.
This investigative hearing is therefore critical to the process of determining factors that have militated against the growth of the sector through the misallocation of responsibility, misapplication of opportunities, and misappropriation of resources. The overriding motivation is to help actualize the government quest for sustainable solutions to our power problem.
Earlier, Chairman of the Committee on Renewable Energy, Honorable Afam Victor Ogene, said the investigative hearing is designed to address procurement lapses, mismanaged grants, and improperly domiciled renewable energy projects. He expressed concern over recurring cases of failed infrastructure, including streetlights that stopped functioning within months of installation, describing the trend as a serious issue of value for money, transparency, and technical standards.
This parliament has the powers to summon anybody and any institution to explain the use of public funds. Those funds do not belong to the executive, it does not belong to the legislature, neither does it belong to the judiciary. It belongs to the Nigerian people. And the Nigerian people are going to pay for it one way or the other. Now, motion moved and seconded. Those in favor of the motion as moved and seconded, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. Well, the ayes have it.
In his remarks, Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, Mr. Jibrin Babandachi, who represented the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said government media platforms are ready to support the committee's mandate. He said that the Voice of Nigeria is transitioning to solar energy as part of efforts to operate more sustainably. According to him, agencies under the ministry are prepared to align with new policy directions introduced by the committee in advancing renewable energy adoption.
Even to get our job done and to cut on energy resources, we are also transiting, also looking at possibility of having mini solar project within our offices so that we can work on a sustainable level. And each of the agency under the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, indeed including the ministry itself, there are projects along that line to ensure that it is done.
Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Haja Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, has expressed the ministry's willingness to collaborate with the National Population Commission, NPC, particularly in the areas of community mobilization and sensitization of women for active participation in NPC activities, including continuous civil registration and vital statistics, CRVS, processes, and the forthcoming population and housing census. A statement by Ahmed Lawan Dambazo, head press and public, says the minister said this when she received a delegation from the National Population Commission led by its chairman, Dr. Aminu Yusuf, during a courtesy visit in her office in Abuja. The minister highlighted various challenges faced by women in society, emphasizing that reliable population data provides a foundation for crafting targeted solutions. She also reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to promoting inclusive national development and decision-making through a reliable database with emphasis on gender equity, the protection of children, and the empowerment of families. Earlier, the Chairman National Population Commission, NPC, Dr. Aminu Yusuf, reaffirmed his agency's commitment to strengthening collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs to advance gender-responsive policies, expand birth registration coverage, and improve access to reliable population data for national development. Highlighting areas of cooperation, the NPC chairman identified the strengthening of birth registration, particularly for the girl child, as a key priority, explaining that birth registration provides every child with a legal identity, the first step towards accessing education, healthcare, and social protection services. He commended the ministry for its exemplary leadership, especially in preparation for the 70th session of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, CSW 70, where both agencies are expected to contribute to discussions on advancing the rights of the girl child and women of reproductive age. The All Progressives Congress APC has extended the timeline for the purchase and submission of nomination forms ahead of its forthcoming zonal congress and national convention. In a statement issued Tuesday in Abuja by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, the APC said the new window for the sale and submission of forms will run from March 12 to March 23, 2026. The party clarified that the adjustment affects only the schedule for forms and does not alter the dates already fixed for the event. According to the statement, the Zonal Congress will hold on March 25, 2026, while the National Convention is slated for March 26 and 27, 2026. The APC also announced a change of venue for the South-South Zonal Congress, which will now take place in Asaba, Delta State. It added that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has been formally notified of the updates in compliance with statutory requirements. The party urged members and stakeholders to take notes of the revised schedule and make necessary arrangements. The Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, Professor Charles Anosike, and Director of the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Dr. Danjuma Ismaila, have signed a memorandum of understanding to strengthen collaboration in professional training, capacity development, and enhanced quality of service delivery across the nation and meteorological sectors. A statement says under the MOU, both institutions will collaborate in the use of training facilities, advisory support for aviation training programs, and the delivery of specialized long and short-term courses for NIMET personnel. The partnership also provides for staff exchange programs, joint training initiatives, and the use of NIMET's training school in Oshodi, Lagos, for ICAO compliant aviation training. Key professional areas targeted by the arrangement include aviation operations and management, safety management systems, crisis management, aviation security, air navigation systems, airport operations, and jointly organized programs such as diploma training in aviation meteorology. Federal government has expressed concern over recent changes in global health funding, stressing that Nigeria must take full responsibility for the health of its citizens and reduce dependence on external support. Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Adekunle Salako, stated this while receiving the Spanish ambassador to Nigeria, Felix Gonzalez Atieda, who led a delegation from the Spanish Agency for the International Development Cooperation on a courtesy visit to the ministry in Abuja. Salako described concerns about shifting global health financing as legitimate, but emphasized that Nigeria must remain in the driver's seat in managing its health sector. He highlighted ongoing reforms under President Bola Tinubu through the National Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative anchored on 4 pillars aimed at transforming healthcare delivery. The minister noted that discussions with the Spanish delegation provided an opportunity to revisit the 2022 Memorandum of Understanding between both countries, particularly in areas such as technology transfer and local manufacturing under the Presidential Initiative for Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain. He also outlined efforts to tackle obstetric fistula and gynecological conditions through specialized institutions offering free treatment and social reintegration. The Central Bank of Nigeria has reduced the monetary policy rate by 50 basis points to 26.50%, down from 27%. The decision was announced at the 304th Monetary Policy Committee meeting held in Abuja. CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso said the decision was unanimous. The committee retained the liquidity ratio at 30% and adjusted the standing facilities corridor to plus 50 and minus 450 basis points around the MPR. It also maintained the cash reserve ratio at 45% for commercial banks and 16% for merchant banks, while 75% CRR on non-TSA public sector deposits was equally retained. Cardoso said the rate cut followed a balanced assessment of economic risk and confidence that inflation will continue on a downward path. He noted that headline inflation declined in January 2026 for the 11th consecutive month, driven by tight monetary policy, exchange rate stability, improved food supply, and stable petroleum prices. The CBN governor also pointed to improved external sector performance, supported by higher export earnings and increased remittance inflows, which have strengthened the foreign exchange market and boosted investor confidence. He welcomed the Presidential Executive Order 09 redirecting oil and gas revenues into the Federation account, describing it as a step toward improving fiscal revenue. The MPR serves as the benchmark interest rate used by the CBN to manage inflation, liquidity, and macroeconomic stability. Nigeria's gross external reserves have risen to $50.45 billion as of February 16, 2026, the highest level in 13 years. CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso announced this while briefing journalists after the 304th Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Abuja. He said the reserves now provide import cover of 9.68 months for goods and services. Cardoso attributed the increase to favorable trade dynamics, a healthy current account surplus, and growth in non-oil exports. He also stressed that improved market confidence has played a critical role, driven by consistent reforms, transparency, and sustained policy direction. However, the CBN governor cautioned that risks remain, including global shocks, oil price volatility, fiscal pressures, and pre-election spending. He warned that fiscal indiscipline or policy inconsistency could undermine recent gains. The reserve stood at about $45.5 billion at the end of 2025, up from $40.8 billion at the start of the year. The Apex Bank projects that reserves could rise further to about $51 billion by the end of 2026. The President reiterates his administration's unwavering commitment to enhancing national security, strengthening institutional capacity, and ensuring that the Nigeria Police Force remains professional, accountable, and fully equipped to discharge its constitutional responsibilities. With only a month left to the deadline for Nigeria's banking sector recapitalization, the sector is gradually entering a decisive moment that will separate the prepared from the pretenders. Financial economist and capital market expert Professor Uche Uwaleke said the sector remains stable, noting that more than 20 banks have already met the new recapitalization requirements. Speaking on the sidelines of the third Professor Uche Uwaleke colloquium on the capital markets in Abuja, he explains that fears over the health of the financial system are unfounded, as regulators will not allow any bank to collapse.
Of course, you know that a number of banks have met over 20 banks have met the recapitalization requirements. So the financial system is very stable. There's no doubt about that. And if at the end of the day you have very few that are unable to meet up, of course, the options are there, for them to merge. Major option is there. And of course, reclassification is also there. Those who are unable to meet international license can come down to regional license. But from the information we have, virtually all the banks in that class, have met that requirement. So the issue of reclassification. So what's important is that no bank will be left to go under. So investors' money safe, customers' money safe. So no bank is going to be allowed to go under.
On the 30th On the June 30th deadline for capital limit for market operators set by the Securities and Exchange Commission, Professor Walike described the time frame as reasonable. However, he suggested that extending the deadline to December 2027 might be more practical, given its alignment with the general elections.
I've always said that the government, the Securities and Exchange Commission can, while the time frame is okay, but I would think it should be extended to December. Extended to December because 2027 is election year. So it would be nice for the Securities and Exchange Commission to extend that one to December of 2027.
Beyond banking stability, Professor Walike highlighted the potential to expand Nigeria's investor base. With a population of over 200 million, largely youthful, he said the country has a significant advantage for capital markets growth. He maintains that with the right policies and technology-driven partnerships, Nigeria can significantly scale up its investor numbers and strengthen the capital markets. You're watching ADBN News at 7. Stay with us for more stories after the break.
The overall function of the Parliament is adequate representation of their constituents in state echoes of federation.
Removal of fuel subsidy, resources to critical sectors such as education and health. A call to unity and progress of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
NAS Unplugged is a program that will highlight topical issues from both chambers of the National Assembly, from bills, motions, and constituency projects.
Guys have it.
Catch the program on ADBN TV, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, as we bring you activities of the National Assembly as it affects the people.
During the flood disaster in Maiduguri and its environs.
For increase in the number of judges in the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
The eyes have it.
NAS Unplugged, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m.
You're welcome back. Akwa Ibom State Government has directed the State Accountant General to close all state accounts except those approved by the state government. Speaking at the Treasury Single Account Implementation meeting at the Banquet Hall, Government House Uyo, the State Governor, Pastor Moeno, gave the directive, noted that his move will ensure the state government monitors all internally generated revenue. ADBN correspondent Mary Onyemachi completes the story.
The Treasury Single Account is a unified structure of government bank accounts that consolidates all financial inflows from ministries, departments, and agencies into a single account at the central bank. According to Governor Umoino, implementing the TSA, which was launched in the state on January 1, 2026, is intended to ensure transparency, accountability, block revenue leakages, and improve financial discipline.
We need to come together, consolidate our revenue. So we don't even know what some of it generates. And that's why now at the federal government, they've introduced the TSA. And so we felt, look, why don't we do something that let all of us understand how much we can really generate as a state.
The governor further issued a stern directive to heads of MDAs against the misappropriation of public funds, stressing that offenders will be referred to anti-graft agencies for investigation.
Let's sit down and agree and take it. And that one that comes to you legitimately, honestly, you'll be happy. Because nobody will come and ask you, how did you spend your cost of collection? All other accounts, Accountant General, close all other accounts that they had either to opened, and don't give approval to open any other account apart from the one that the state has opened.
The Commissioner for Science and Digital Economy, Dr. Frank Ekmeyong, urged MDAs as well as the general public to utilize the Aqua Remit portal for payments, as it would ensure that funds are paid directly to the state government.
Imagine a bucket, a big bucket, and imagine that there are several taps connected to a funnel. So Aqua Remit is a funnel. So it sits on the funnel and different MDAs, if you like, connect to this funnel, and the revenue and the money you're generating is channeled into one bucket. So it means that the state government can have one single view of generation real time. There's no need for siloed account, there's no need for fragmented account, there's no need for, waiting for days before you know how much you're generating.
Buttressing the government's directives, the Commissioner for Finance, as well as the State Accountant General, assured the state government that all modalities have been put in place to eliminate loopholes in state finances and ensure the seamless and efficient implementation of the TSA across all MDAs.
In the course of the implementation of the TSA in the state, a number of concerns has been raised, and the Treasury Single Account Implementation Committee reviewed the concerns raised by the stakeholders and handled a number of them.
We have worked with the team, and we have set the parameter to ensure that your cost of collection will be paid to you as a rent due. The monies meant to be returned to the MDAs will be returned on time. For our information, we have already set up a complete TSA unit in the Office of Accountant General.
Mary Onyemichi, ADBN News.
The Bayelsa State House of Assembly has confirmed the nomination of Dr. Peter Akpe as the new Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State. Dr. Akpe was nominated by Governor Doediri following the demise of the former Deputy Governor Lawrence Erujakpo. The House, presided over by the Speaker, Abraham Ngobere, in a unanimous decision endorsed the nomination of Dr. Akpe. Dr. Peter Akpe, who is also a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, appreciated Governor Doediri for finding him worthy to serve in the Deputy Governor capacity in Bayelsa State. The University of Delta Agbo, UNIDEL, at the weekend made history as it graduated its first set of students, including 30 first-class graduates, at its maiden convocation ceremony 4 years after the institution was established. At the colorful ceremony, the Governor of Delta State and visitor to the university, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborowori, announced far-reaching incentives and policy decisions aimed at strengthening academic excellence at the young university. The Governor disclosed that the best graduating student will receive a 5 million naira cash award, while each first-class graduate will be rewarded with 500,000 naira payable immediately. He approved the request of the Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Stella Chimeke, for the conversion of the Mother and Child Hospital, General Hospital Agbo, and Diagnosis Center, Owa Alero, into a university teaching hospital, a critical step toward full accreditation of UNIDEL's medical programs. He also pledged the donation of a coastal bus to support the university's transportation needs and a block of hostel to address students' accommodation needs.
I look forward to the university running postgraduate programs. I look forward to the university running international exchange programs. I look forward to a UNIDEL ranked one of the best in the state and in the country. I also call on many individuals, corporate bodies, to continue to partner with the government and the university, particularly in supporting the university's ongoing drive in medical education, hostel development, transportation, and teaching hospital arrangements. Together, we can build a citadel of learning that will serve the digital year to come. Finally, I say, I was pleasantly surprised yesterday when you honored me by naming the Faculty of Management and Social Sciences complex after me.
In her address, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Stella Chimeke, disclosed that the university was presenting 1,606 graduates from 7 faculties across the 2023-2024 and 2024-2025 academic sessions. All are judged worthy in character and learning. Professor Chimeke highlighted significant milestones recorded under the current administration, including full accreditation of all academic programs by the National Universities Commission, strong international collaborations, improved infrastructure, enhanced campus security, and growing global recognition.
Convocation is a formal occasion on which we present to the society another set of priceless jewels, graduates refined by rigorous training and character formation. For the 2024 and 2025 academic session, we are presenting 1,606 graduates who have been found worthy in character and learning. By your efforts, and crown your endeavors with success. Uphold integrity, discipline, and excellence. Be agent of peace, equity, and development in whatever sphere you find yourself.
Also speaking, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Council, Emeritus Professor Emmanuel A. Sinwanze, described the convocation as both a celebration and a moment of stock-taking, commending the resilience of staff and students and praising the Vice-Chancellor for her energy, clarity of purpose, and hands-on leadership.
As Pro-Chancellor of this esteemed institution, I am extremely proud to witness this maiden convocation. We appreciate the Governor of Delta State for his continued support to this university since his assumption of office as the Governor of Delta State in May. His Excellency has always met his responsibilities and commitment in his agenda of education.
Earlier, the Governor was formally decorated as visitor to the university in line with the enabling laws establishing the institution, and was thereafter honored with the University Award of Recognition alongside 17 other eminent Nigerians. Among the distinguished awardees were the immediate past Governor of Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, the Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, the Chairman of Zenith Bank, Mr. Jim Ovia, the Chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Barrister Chiedu Ebie, and the former Acting Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, Mr. Chris Miyaki, among others.
I want to publicly, on behalf of all the awardees, thank the Pro-Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor, and all the management staff for what we have seen here this afternoon. But my testament goes to His Excellency the Governor, who was part of the vision in 2021 to establish the 3 universities, and today he's presiding over the affairs of our dear state, and he's doing great things, particularly in supporting the universities and ensuring that they stay strong.
ADBN Delta State correspondent Charles Kosipre reports that the overall graduating student Victoria Uzoma of the Faculty of Management Sciences, Department of Business Administration, graduated with an outstanding grade point average GPA of 4.97 and attributed her exceptional feat to divine grace. Girl child education has been described as a critical pillar for building a peaceful and progressive society, particularly in northern Nigeria, and a preventive tool against poverty, insecurity, and inequality. Yet more than 20% of female students in a Kaduna secondary school reportedly drop out before reaching their final year, despite the state government's allocation of 25% of its budget to the education sector. Details of our report will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. You're still watching ADBN News at 7. Stay with us for more stories after this break.
In a world constantly in flux, news moves fast, stories collide, opinions swirl. Who helps you make sense of it all?
It's me, ADBN, of course. Every week, I take you beyond the headlines, cutting through the maze, asking the tough questions, and spotlighting the stories shaping our world.
From politics to culture, business to global affairs, community pulse to everything that defines human existence, News Eddies brings you the currents that matter. Stay informed, stay ahead.
Join me, ADBN, for News Eddies, 9 p.m. every Sunday on ADBN TV.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
You're welcome back. A look now at the international scene. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has thanked Russia's President Vladimir Putin for enabling the return of 17 South Africans allegedly tricked into joining the Russia-Ukraine war. Last November, the South African government said it had received distress calls from the group of men who had joined mercenary forces in the conflict. The men believed they were going to Russia for bodyguard training but ended up on the front line of the war in Ukraine. Ramaphosa's office confirmed that 4 of them had returned last Friday, while 11 others would be on their way home soon, with another 2 expected later. An investigation into the recruitment is ongoing, it said. Working as a mercenary or fighting on behalf of another government is illegal in South Africa unless the government authorizes it. Relatives of the men told newsmen that when they had arrived in Russia, they were given contracts to sign, but since they were written in Russian, they did not understand it was to fight as mercenaries against Ukrainian forces. Heavy rains have flooded the makeshift tents of the Palestinians as they brave the winter with little to no protection. The enclave was hit by a winter storm late Monday through Tuesday, the first since the start of the holy month of Ramadan. Gaza's civil defense units have reported multiple distress calls overnight. Rescue teams provided emergency assistance to several families whose tents were flooded in the Al-Mawasi camp west of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. Areas west of Gaza City, particularly the Rimal neighborhood and the port area, were also hit hard. Meanwhile, Israeli forces continue to kill Palestinians in Gaza in violation of a ceasefire reached with Hamas in October. The Israeli military killed 2 people, including a boy, in northern Gaza's Beit Lahia area as the Palestinians battle the aftermath of the rains. The details of those killings are awaited. Since the United States brokered ceasefire came into effect, the Ministry of Health in Gaza says more than 600 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks. And now talking sports, host state Edo have established a commanding lead on the medals table after 4 days of competition at the second Niger Delta Games in Benin City. Edo currently tops the standings with 47 medals comprising 22 gold, 12 silver and 13 bronze. Delta sits second with 44 medals comprising 14 gold, 19 silver and 11 bronze, while defending champions Bayelsa occupy third position with 31 medals, 13 gold, 7 silver and 11 bronze. Abia, Cross River, Rivers, Akwa Ibom and Imo follow in that order, with Ondo at the bottom of the table on 8 medals, 2 gold, 1 silver and 5 bronze. Action continues on day 5 of the games, with tennis, lifting and chess taking center stage. Team Akwa Ibom's Itoro Basi has advanced to her second women's singles final at the Niger Delta Games after defeating Lorelei Hosendol in the semi-final of the ongoing second edition in Benin City, Edo State. Basi secured a commanding 6-1-6-1 victory at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, describing the win as thrilling, especially after beating the same opponents at the semi-final stage during the maiden edition of the Games. She also praised the organizers for the welfare and hospitality provided to athletes, noting that their experience in Edo has been enjoyable and supportive for her and her teammates. Basi will now face teammate Favor James in a repeat of last year's final as she continues her quest for the title and nurtures her ambition of becoming a professional tennis player. The games are organized by Dunamis Icon Limited and sponsored by the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC, with events running until February 26. The National Sports Commission has announced that the invited diaspora athletes IDA will take their debut at the maiden edition of the National Intermediate Games scheduled to hold in Lagos later this year. The ADA initiative is one of the several reforms introduced by the Commission under the leadership of Shehu Dikko as part of the Renewed Hope initiative aimed at strengthening Nigeria's sports economy. Director General of the NSC, Bukola Olokade, explained that since the establishment of the Diaspora Discovery Athletes Committee, currently chaired by Tunde Adelakun, there has been strong interest from Nigerians in the diaspora willing to compete for the country. According to the DG, this growing interest informed the decision for a 50-member invited diaspora athletes team to participate fully in this year's Intermediate Games in Lagos. At the 22nd National Sports Festival held in Ogun State last year, the invited junior athletes IJA competed as a 37th state and made a significant impact by winning medals. In a similar arrangement, the invited diaspora athletes will feature at the Intermediate Games this year as a 38th state. Akraf Hakimi, the Moroccan international and defender for Paris Saint-Germain, is set to stand trial over allegations of rape involving a young woman in February 2023, according to the player's lawyer and prosecutors in Nanterre. Reports indicate that toward the end of February 2023, the woman, who was 24 at the time, the same age as the player, visited a police station in Val-de-Marne where she alleged that she had been raped. However, she did not file a formal complaint. Hakimi's lawyer, Fanny Collins, said the decision to proceed to trial is based solely on the woman's account, adding that she declined further investigative procedures, including the medical examinations, DNA test, access to her phone, and identifying a key witness. According to a police source, the woman alleged that the player kissed her, touched her without consent, and subsequently raped her. His club, Paris Saint-Germain, has not yet issued an official statement regarding the matter. And that's it on ADBN TV News. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 258, on Star Times channel 140, on Avo TV app, on Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website at www.adbntv.com. You can also watch us live from every part of the world by logging on to www.adbntv.com/live. I am Mariam Zakari thanking you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening.